All right. Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
To another edition of the Glittery Bones of Advertising. I'm still Craig McLeod. I'm joined by three other friends today, and we are going to take a look at something that I think is damn right fabulous.
Ah! You're giving your thoughts already?
Wak. You know what? I'd like you to give us a quick intro, Carol Turd Schnappel.
Sure. So this morning we're taking a look at a campaign from Stella Insurance. So that's a female-focused Australian insurance company. And they have re-scripted, I guess, some Aussie vernacular or international vernacular. I wonder. Yeah, I think it's
it is definitely international.
Surpasses the seas to many of the other, through the oceans to the other continents, of the old saying, if it takes balls. So they have put a female twist on it. So let's have a look.
Ever wondered why every bold move is said to have taken balls? Every courageous act is ballsy. The brave heroes of the big match or the big meeting are said to have put their balls on the line, when half of us don't have balls. What we do have is the courage to stand up for what's right. The language we use shapes the way we see the world. So let's change it. Because some of the bravest, boldest, most badass humans who ever walked this earth didn't have balls. And it doesn't only take balls to stare down your fears, embrace who you are, champion equality, or build products for a fairer world. It takes boobs.
I'm going to start and just tell you, the Run Like a Girl campaign gave me the best feels, being a dad of two daughters and working with a myriad of fabulous women. This one did exactly the same things. And I say, bloody brilliant. And I love it. There should be more of it. I thought the cinematography was brilliant. I thought the cheeky puns that they pulled across everything was bloody brilliant. So whoever filmed it or came up with the idea, I'm going to give you a tip of the hat. I reckon it's a cracker. And I loved it, all of it, from the beginning to end. It made me remember their brand. It made me remember their brand for something that I love, because being guilty myself of saying, oh, it takes balls to do that, or as big as a bloody brass monkey's balls or something. So it's something that I could connect with Stella instantly now, because now it takes boobs, and I put that next to Stella.
Fantastic. That's bloody a great response. How about you, JD, from a no boob standpoint?
Whoa. We're both
everyone, I guess.
And we do run a little bit of the man boob.
Everyone does have boobs.
Just a little bit of the man boob.
We all have nipples.
Everyone has nipples.
Nibbles, not nipples, nibbles.
I would have liked that. I would have liked it. It takes nipples. I would have
It takes nibbles.
Yeah. I think it would have. I think it would have absolutely helped. I liked it. I thought the idea was bigger than the execution. Yeah. I think the idea of unifying that whole sense of what is courage and what is it that helps people move forward and progress and do things that they wouldn't normally do. I think that's like finding a unifying language for that, I think is really good. I think that's defining. But this seems to me to be that this, if it's a brand that is specifically aimed at women, I think they could have, I think the idea could have been a bit sharper. But I loved it. I thought the imagery was great. I thought the idea behind it was great. I thought the underlying spirit of the ad was fantastic. I just think they could have tried a bit harder. That was all.
What do you mean, JD? Do you mean that they didn't give us enough examples of where we translated the balls to boobs, or do you reckon it was execution as far as budget wasn't big enough for a big enough campaign execution?
Like,
what do you mean?
I think it's, why would you limit yourself to doing that? Like we say, it takes balls. We should do something that that is that's more all encompassing. It seems like it's taking that whole idea of putting something on the line from a male perspective and putting a female spin on it. And it's like one of the big criticisms of early feminism. Here you go. Here's a fucking serious bloody rabbit hole for you right
Fuck,
now.
I shouldn't
Here
have
we
asked this
go.
question, should I? Where are we headed now?
Did you ever watch Mrs. America? That lovely thing with Kate Blanchett, who was it's a work movie, absolutely on a TV series worth watching. Brilliant.
Okay, I do love a bit of Katie Blanchett. She's pretty much fabulous.
Yeah, she was very right wing and not very likable in this, but still brilliant. That whole sense of why define yourself by trying to mirror what men have got when women are much more powerful when they're doing things that only women can do. Like, I think
is that the point though? Is that the point of it? It's just about
if the brand is all about targeting women, surely it's about what is it that women find courageous? What is it that women find? Like, it seems like it's taking a step, putting a foot in both camps. I think they can jump very firmly into the female camp. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic, but I just thought they didn't go far enough.
All right, let's hear from the ladies. I wanted to put an alternate campaign to them as well, but let's hear from the ladies. And what do you guys reckon?
I don't know. I hear what you're saying, JD, but I think some of the visuals that were shown throughout that were very much only things that women can do. Like, you know, there was shots of a woman in her bathroom, obviously going through some sort of IVF and having to inject herself with hormones. You know, there was mum carrying 2 kids, trying to juggle work. Like, there were a lot of things in there that were very much very female oriented. I get what you're saying around the wording of it takes boobs and the fact that it's a play on and play off masculine gender norms. So I do get that perspective, but I think visually they did a really, really good job of showing a lot of instances where, you know, women do have to take the
man up. But that's like the play on it. No, I'm agreeing with Gabs. I think, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Lishy. You finished?
No, that's all I was going to say. I also think they did a really good job of making the ad, like making you feel something and making you want to change your health insurance rather than it just being a price or a cost decision that would make you think, oh, actually, maybe I do want to consider this because they support and their offering is tailored to women's health needs as well. They did a really good job of that.
Interesting point, Gabs. You say that it looked like she was doing IVF, which you're probably right. It probably was hormones. I went straight to she was doing like diabetes, that there was an insulin injection. That's what I thought. But I guess I don't know whether you do them in your tummy or you don't.
No,
but
I think I'm pretty
so
sure
obviously it's probably IVF, so extra hormones or whatever. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Look, I loved it. That's why obviously I sent it for everyone to have a squizzy at. I think the casting was brilliant. I think the situations that they showed were really interesting and probably different to just like you can play soccer or you can, run a business. Like, it was really kind of more thought-provoking than just top-level men versus women, which Gabs was touching on as well. And then looking deeper into Stella as their offering beyond health insurance, they actually offer insurance in general, and looking at they will waive excess on property damage if it's been done by your spouse. So they really look into domestic abuse as well, which other insurances don't. So if your car or something in your house is damaged by someone that lives there or your spouse, other insurance companies won't waive the excess for that, whereas they do. Like, they've got this big focus on domestic violence and domestic abuse as well, which they show in their ad of the woman leaving the house and, you know, taking a wedding ring off and going. So I think that there's a lot more to their story, and I think this is a platform for many other kind of campaigns that they're going to do that are all going to tie back to this. But I think it was a really strong kind of show of arms to people that may be in similar situations. And like you say, Gabs, rather than looking at insurance from a price point, looking at it being, you know, fit for purpose. And a lot of health insurers do that when they kind of make jokes of, oh, I had pregnancy insurance and I'm a man. Like, they kind of look at it from that side. Whereas I think this takes a really strong kind of standpoint of the other side of things and not making fun of it, like being quite serious about it, which I think resonated for me as a female. So round of applause to them. I really liked it.
Yeah, I think that's a better platform for a creative ad, that domestic abuse piece.
Yeah.
Like, that to me says we're about women. That to me is something that is that's a massive idea. And it's,
I think though as well, it's not every woman doesn't experience it though. So I think it's nice that they included it, but they didn't say. I think if they ran that as a singular piece, JD, though, I think it would victimize women more so by being like, if you're a woman, you suffer domestic abuse, so come to Stella. Like, it's saying, it kind of touched on everything. It was like the powerfulness of being a woman, but also the struggles, but also the elation. Like, I feel like it kind of covered off a really broad range of what it means to be a woman, perhaps. And
maybe that's maybe part of what you said is I don't want to disclaim or disrespect everything that it takes to be a woman, but maybe I'm more drawn to. So be very careful. Watch the tightrope that I'm about to walk here.
Yeah.
Just pay attention.
All right, we can always edit you out, bud. So don't worry. We just cut, send it. You can be on the cutting room floor. Say whatever you like.
Thank you very much. No, I think I'm always more drawn to advertising ideas that are simple and single-minded. And I think the idea behind this may have been too big. There you go.
Yep. Okay.
Edit that out if you like.
I'm going to segue to something else. I'm going to go straight into the hardest questions in advertising. What's your question, Bertle?
Yeah, so this one's a bit topical, and I was kind of like, should I, shouldn't I? So maybe we can dial it down a little bit. But initially, my hardest question in advertising would be, right now, would it be harder to sell a tour of the Titanic or an overnight stay in a tiger enclosure? And this kind of very random, I know. This came to me when I found out that OceanGate is still advertising tours on their website. So I guess maybe to simplify the question or make it more pointed, is it ever okay to advertise using someone else's demise or, you know, something bad that's happened in order to gain profit?
No.
Go, JD.
The best advertisement of all time said men wanted for perilous journey, chance of survival nil, or chance of survival slim. Like, the whole sense, men are idiots, billionaire idiots are drawn to danger the way a moth is drawn to a flame. Like, how many people have climbed up Mount Everest, and how many of them are so rich they never needed to get to the top of the world, but they did it so they could stand around at dinner parties and go, well, I've been up to Mount Everest. There'll be people, millionaire idiots, billionaire idiots lining up to go down in the next bathtub that's supposed to go and explore the bottom of the world. At least this time there'll be two things to see. They'll be able to see the wreck of the Titanic and this bloody white thing that went down last time. Like, it's ridiculous. But yes, they will sell it and people will buy it because there are more than enough idiots in the world. There you go.
So let's go back to what the question is. What's the actual question, Bert? What are you asking? Is it
I
harder
guess-
to sell a night in a tiger enclosure or a trip
No,
down to
we'll divert. We'll step away from that and go a little bit clearer on: is it ever okay to advertise on the back of a tragedy or on the back of someone's demise? Like, is it okay to use that as a springboard for your own gain?
Okay. So JD, post your I don't know, we'll call it maybe a high horse or a rant. What's your answer to that question?
I think
No or
people
yes?
do it all the time because
So
it's
is it yes or no?
Yes, they're selling danger.
Yeah.
They're selling life-threatening. It's like going to the Grand Prix and wanting to see someone die in an accident. That's why that's a lot of the reason people go to those really exciting things, because they hope to see someone die. They don't want to admit it, but like, yeah, that whole sense of life-threatening is what sells exciting tours to anywhere.
Okay, Gabs, what's your thought?
Oh, this is so hairy.
I know. Throw on some hairy ones today.
And in this instance, I think no. But I think there would be certain instances where it is okay. I find it hard to like think of an example right now, but I think the demise can't include death. Like, I think, if I don't know, if Donald Trump or something had a skiing accident and he broke his ankle or something, and someone came out with a whole lot of, Donald Trump themed helmets, like, that's funny. I think that's okay. But when people are like, when death is involved, and in this instance, I wouldn't feel right about it. But it does happen. So.
What about you, Pot?
Well, while I understand JD's point of, it's happening no matter what, and obviously people, are drawn to, some of that, courageous, the most difficult things. For me, there's a thing called taste, and there's things that you should, things you shouldn't do. And perhaps there needs to be a protracted length of time between when whoever it is that offers those submarine or submersible tours, and they understand and respect what's gone on and the gravity of the situation, whether they've got $1 or $1 billion, they're still a human being, in my opinion. So there's a thing called taste, and that taste would dictate to me whether it's right or wrong. And at this particular juncture, it's not the right thing to do. I think there's time that needs to lapse, and I think people need to be afforded the opportunity to grieve without, I don't know, whether there's a shitstorm in social media about them still advertising tours or whatever there is. I think there's got to be a time when we respect people, particularly in a time of loss. And, that is a highly difficult situation to be in for a lot of people. But I'm sure people still do it. So my answer is no, it's not okay.
Yeah, look,
Caro?
I agree that it's not okay. And I think, like Gabs and Craig are saying, it's based on taste and also based on like the magnitude of what may have happened. I think it can leave a really horrible taste in people's mouths, like looking at the aftermath of what's happened with Ocean Gate and the people that have kind of jumped on and used it as a springboard to like make fun of it, or they're making, like, especially in social media, like posts and this, that, and about it. I think it can instantly turn people off your brand, your following, like whatever it may be. I think it's so bizarre that they're still advertising. I don't understand the concept of that, but it's something that they have done with purpose as well. They could have shut it down. People have, gone to them and said, what the fuck are you doing? And they're still advertising and selling these trips. So for them, I don't know, that's just seems bizarre. But like JD saying, there's probably people that may be a little bit self-righteous and self-absorbed that think, well, I want to be the next one to go down and be successful. But, each their own in that regard. But yeah, no. I don't think you should. Not if Donald Trump breaks his ankle, Gabs, amazing. Like let's have some fun with that. kind of, even that feels a bit mean. But yeah, when we're talking about someone losing loved ones and all of that kind of stuff, I think it's quite distasteful to use that for your benefit.
We could call it Trump boot. That's what it could be called. It could be like a boot you get when you're broken. You're able to be called Trump boot. And now that,
like it. There we go.
That would be a product we could potentially market to all of the Americans who love Trumpington. They could be buying the boot left, right, and center. Whenever everyone breaks a boot, it goes to market as Trump boot. Although I reckon he'd want a cut of it.
Oh, yeah.
Totally. Naming rights.
But anywho, that was a very heavy issue edition episode, even is the word that I'm looking for, of the glittery bones with advertising. We'll be back next week with some fun, though.
Yeah, sorry, guys. It was kind of fun,
Wasn't
wasn't it?
What was that? I thought it was fantastic.